And it would make Reuben much happier that we did not have to kill little Joseph.
Jacob. Yaga, yo. Genesis 31. The saga continues. Yo. Jacob heard Laban's son words saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's. He has obtained all this wealth from that which was our father's. Be not thou afraid when one is made rich, and when the glory of his house is increased. Jacob saw the expression on Laban's face, and behold, it was not towards him as before. Also in time past, when Saul was king over us, that thou was he that led us out and brought us into Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be captain over Israel. You shall no more give the people straw to make brick as hitherto, for let them go and gather straw for themselves, and tell of the bricks which they did make hitherto. You shall lay upon them, you shall not diminish aught thereof, for they be idle. Therefore they cry, saying, Let us go and sacrifice to our God. But unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect, and Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Yahweh said to Jacob, Return to thy land, to thy fathers, and to thy relatives, and I will be with you. And I am with you, and I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to this land, and I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, and God of my father Isaac, the Lord which said unto me, Return unto thy country and to thy kindred, and I will deal well with thee. Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to the field and to his flock, and said to them, I see the expression of thy father's face, that it is not towards me as before, but the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength. Jacob said to him, You know now I have worked for you, and how your livestock is fed under my care. Your father has deceived me and changed my wages 10 times, but God didn't allow him to hurt me. Not one of those who saw the glory of my signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, but who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times, now you have reproached me. Shamelessly you attacked me. Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, left the Jordan, was led by the Spirit into the wilderness. And it came to pass that when the Jews which dwelt by them came, they said unto us 10 times, From all places which you shall return unto us, they will be upon you. This is what the Lord Almighty says. In those days 10 people from all languages and nations will take firm hold of one Jew by the hem of his robe, and say, Let us go with you, because we have heard that God is with you. Then Peter came to him and said, Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times. And if he said, the speckle will be golden wages, and all the flocks will speckle. And if he said, the streaks will be wages, and all the flocks will streak. Let me go through your flocks today, and remove from every speckled or spotted sheep, every dark and colored lamb, and every spotted or speckled goat. They will be my wages. Thus God has taken away the father's livestock and given it to me. During the mating season I looked up and lifted my eyes and saw the dream. And I behold the male goats which leaped, and all the flocks of streaked, speckled and grizzled. And the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. I said, Here I am. And he said, Now lift up thy eyes and behold all the male goats which leap on the flocks of streaked, speckled and grizzled. For I have seen all that Laban does to you.
Interpreting dreams, Joseph. God gives men the dreams, Bonacap. Sometimes he allows his poor servant to see the meanings.
Yo, Genetics 31, the saga continues. Part 2, yo. Therefore, as the time tomorrow, the Lord will send the worst hailstorm that ever fallen on Egypt from the day it was founded to now. And the Lord said, I have indeed seen the misery of my people in Egypt, and I have heard them crying out because of their slave drivers, and I am concerned about their suffering. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you vowed a vow to me. Now arise and get out from this land and return to the land of your birth. Early the next morning, Jacob took a stone he had placed under his head and set up a pillar and poured out oil on top of it. He called that place Bethel, through the city used to be called Luz. And Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and watch over me this journey I am taking, I will give me food and eat and clothes to wear. Rachel and Leah answered him, is there any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? We considered as foreigners before him by him, and for he has sold us, and he has also used up our money. Laban said to him, just because you are a relative of mine, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me what your wages shall be. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but it seemed only like a few days to him because of his love for her. Finish his daughter's bridal week, then we will give you the younger one also in return for another 7 years of work. For all the riches which God has taken away from our fathers of ours and our children. Now then, whatever God has said to you, do. Then Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives on camels. And he took away all his livestock and the possessions which he had gathered, including the livestock which he had gained in Paddan Aram, to go to Isaac his father to the land of Canaan. Now Laban had gone to share his sheep, and Rachel stole the teraphim. There were her fathers. Jacob deceived Laban the Syrian, and then he didn't tell him that he was running away. So he fled with all that he had. He rose up and passed over the river and set his face toward the mountain of Gilead. Laban was told on the 3rd day that Jacob had fled. He took his relatives with him and pursued him 7 days' journey and overtook him in the mountain of Gilead. God came to Laban and Syrian in a dream that night and said to him, be careful that you don't speak to Jacob, either good or bad. Laban caught up with Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mountain, and Laban with his relatives encamped in the mountain of Gilead. Laban said to Jacob, what have you done, that you have deceived me and carried away my daughter like a captive by the sword? Why do you flee secretly and deceive me, and didn't tell me that I might have sent you away with mirth and with songs, with tambourines and with the harp? But now please forgive their sins, but if not, then blot me out of the book you have written. Now if you be ready, that you at the time hear the sound of the cornet flute and the harp and psaltery in the summer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if you worship not, you shall be cast at the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? And it didn't allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters. Now you have done foolishly. I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never ever again the waters become a flood to destroy all life. And it is the power of my hand to hurt you. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful that you don't speak to Jacob, either good or bad. Now you want to be gone because you greatly long for your father's house. But why have you stolen my gods?
There is only pain and suffering to mark the endless hours.
The saga continues. And anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Jacob answered Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, lest you should take your daughters from me by force. Anyone you find your gods with shall not live. Before our relatives discern what is yours with me and take it. For Jacob didn't know that Rachel was stolen them. With whomsoever of thy servants to be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. Laban went into Jacob's tent, into Leah's tent, and into the tent of the 2 female servants. But he didn't find them. He went out of Leah's tent and entered into Rachel's tent. In the days come when your sons ask you, what does this mean? Say to him, with mighty hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Now Rachel had taken the teraphim and put them in the camel's saddle and sat on them. Laban felt around the tent but didn't find them. So he said to her father, don't you let my Lord be angry that I can rise up before you, and I have taken my period. He searched but didn't find the teraphim. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God has given thee. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head, and honor the face of the old man, and fear thy God. I am the Lord. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, if this is right. Jacob was angry and argued with Laban. Jacob answered Laban, what is my trespass? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Be you angry and sin not. Let not thy sun go down upon your wrath. Now that you have felt around all my stuff, and have you found of all your household stuff? Set it here before my relatives and your relatives, that they may judge between us two. Behold, I am here, witness against me before the Lord, and before his annihilators whose ox I have taken, and whose heirs have I taken, and whom have I defrauded, and whom have I oppressed, and whom hand have I received any bribe to blind my eyes therewith, and I will restore it to you. I speak to your shame. It is so that there is not wise men among you, no, that I shall be able to judge between his brethren. These 20 years I have been with you. Your old and your female gods have not cast their youngs, and I haven't eaten the rams of thy flocks. And the priests of the Midianites, the 7 daughters, and they came to draw water and fill the troughs to the water of their father's flock. That which was torn by the animals and didn't bring to you, I bore its loss. And of thy hand you requited it and stolen, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. I have for the man deliver unto his neighbor an ass and an ox and a sheep and a beast to keep, and it is to die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it. And if it be stolen from him, and it shall make restitution on his own thereof. This is my situation in the day of the drought, consume me of the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served for 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and I have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the God of my father, the God of Abraham, the fear of Isaac, had been with me, surely now you will have sent me away empty. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night. If you have not been the Lord who is on my side, now let Israel say, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And the Lord said, I have seen the satisfaction of my people in Egypt, and I have heard their cry by reason of the taskmaker, and I know their sorrow. Laban unto Jacob, the daughters of my daughters, the children of my children, the flocks of my flocks, and all that you see is mine. What can I do
had these
today?
problems. Have they worsened so that they now rob you of your sleep?
What can I do today?
Right. Problems are as much part of
What can I
life.
do today to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have born? Now come, let's make a covenant, you and I, and let it be for a witness between me and you. The answers we saw clearly that the Lord was with you, so we said, thou art by be sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you. Just like Joshua said unto the people, behold, this stone shall be a witness unto us, for it have heard all the words of the Lord which he spake unto us. It shall be therefore a witness unto you, lest you should deny your God. Jacob took a stone and set up for a pillar. Jacob said to his relatives, gather stones, and they took stones and made a heap, and they ate there by that heap. Laban called it Jehoshaphat, the Hebrew witness child, but Jacob called it Gilead, the Hebrew witness. Laban said, this heap is a witness between me and you today. Therefore it was named Gilead and Mespah, for he said, Yahweh watched between me and you when we were absent from one another. And if you afflict my daughters, or if you take wives in addition to my daughters, no man is with us, so hold the God a witness between me and you. Laban said to Jacob, see this heap and see this pillar I have set between me and you. May this heap be a witness, and the pillar be a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and that you will not pass over this heap and this pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of their fathers, judge between us. The God which in Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Jacob offered a sacrifice in the mountain and called his relatives to eat bread. They ate bread and stayed all night in the mountain. And in the early morning Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. Laban departed, returned to his place, just like when David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David and said, his glorious was the king of Israel to this day, who uncovered himself today in his eyes of his handmaids, his servants, as one in the vain fetters was shamelessly uncovered itself. This is the breakdown of Genesis 31, the daydream.